Yeah. So today we are going to start with our topic giant covalent structures and covalent molecules that we have already studied in our previous lecture. The covalent molecules are those molecules which are formed by the sharing of electrons and they are mostly non-metallic elements. So whenever non-metallic elements or you can say non-metals combine with each other, they are going to form a covalent structure. So you already know that many non-metallic elements exist as a simple covalent bonded molecule. In the solid state, these molecules,
Give me,
yes, yeah, my voice is clear or not?
can
What
you give
happened?
me one there's something loading. Yeah.
Okay. So in solid state, these molecules form a simple molecular lattice structure held together by weak intermolecular forces, and these structures therefore show low melting and boiling point. Now, covalent structures have a weak intermolecular forces of attraction. Now, intermolecular, that is between the molecules, like for example, this and this particle, the force of attraction is very weak. And as the force of attraction is weak, so therefore they have low melting and boiling point. So the first point that we need to study about the giant covalent structure is they have low melting and boiling point because of weak intermolecular forces of attraction. Okay. The
Yeah.
non-metal boron, carbon, and silicon have different lattice structure. Lattice structure means that the particle structure is different. Instead of small molecules and intermolecular forces, many billions of atoms are held together by a network of strong covalent bonds to form a giant covalent lattice. Now, what happens? Each and every non-metal, like that of the carbon, boron, silicon, they have a different lattice structure. Okay, all have a different arrangement in their whole crystal, in their whole structure. Okay,
Yeah.
now instead of small molecules, these do not exist as a small molecules. They form a giant structure by their strong covalent bonds. They form a strong covalent bonds with each other and form a giant structure, which is known as a giant covalent lattice. Clear? The many
Yeah.
small join together with the and form a network. Now, carbon and silicon in group 14 of the periodic table and their atoms have 4 electrons in their outermost shell. Now, carbon atomic number is 6, electronic configuration will be 2 and 4. So, 4 number of electrons are there in their outermost shell. Okay, so 4 number of electrons are there in the outermost shell. So, what they do, the carbon in its diamond form and silicon uses 4 electrons to form covalent bond to the other carbon and silicon atom. Now, if you see this carbon, if you see this carbon which is red, okay, it is attached by 1, 2, 3, and this one fourth.
Yeah.
Fine. So each
Yeah.
carbon is attached by 4 other carbons. Clear?
Yeah.
So that is what they are saying, that carbon in its diamond form and silicon uses these 4 electrons to form a covalent bond to other carbon and silicon atoms. And the result is tetrahedral structure. That structure is known as a tetrahedral structure. This is something like this: carbon, 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 and this one is carbon. Got it clear?
Yeah.
This is tetrahedral structure. This one is sideways. This all these three are in one plane, and this one is in backward direction. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, figure 5 shows the tetrahedral arrangement of the carbon in the following. This is again tetrahedral arrangement. When this carbon is 1, 2, 3, and 4, it's sharing the electrons from these 1, 2, 3, and 4 carbons. The bond angle, this angle is 109.5 degree by electron pair repulsion. So these pairs are having some repulsion. That's why the bond angle is 109.5. The dot and the cross diagram shows part of covalent bonded network of a carbon atom. So this is the dot and the cross diagram, or you can say this is known as electron dot structure. Now with the help of this structure, they have shown the network of carbon compound. Got it? Clear?
Yeah.
Any doubt in this?
No.
Okay. Now properties. A typical property of substances with a giant covalent lattice structure are given below. The properties are dominated by strong covalent bonds which make it very stable structure that are very difficult to break down. Now within the molecule, the strong covalent bond is there, but they are attached with a weak forces with each other. Are you getting my point? What I am trying to say? Within the
Yeah.
molecule, the force of attraction is strong, and one molecule, when attached with other molecule, then the force of attraction is not that strong. Clear?
Okay.
Okay. Now melting and boiling point. First property. Giant covalent lattice have high melting and boiling point. This is because covalent bonds are strong. As the bond is strong, it means we require more amount of heat to break that structure. And more amount of heat means high melting and boiling point. Now, high temperature are necessarily to provide the large quantity of energy needed to break the strong covalent bond. Got it clear?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, solubility. Now, giant covalent lattice are insoluble in almost all solvents. Why they are insoluble? The covalent bond holding together the atom in the lattice are so strong to be broken by the interaction with solvents. Now, the force of attraction between these giant lattice is so strong that it cannot be broken down or it cannot be weakened by any solvent with the interaction of any solvent. Clear?
Yeah.
That is why their solubility is less or almost you can say that it is insoluble. Okay.
Yeah.
So we have studied about the two properties, melting point and boiling point. It is high because of the covalent bond, and solubility is low or they are insoluble because of what? Strong forces of attraction, which becomes or which is impossible to you can say to break
Right.
by the interaction of the solvent. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay, ji. Now electrical conductivity. Now for electrical conductivity, by conducting or you can say the one which is helpful in electrical conductivity is motion of free electron. There should be a free electron that move from one side to other side, and then only electrical conductivity will take place. That is the passing of electricity can take place. Okay. Now, giant covalent lattice are non-conductor of electricity. Why they are non-conductor? Because they are not having any free electron. Only exception cases are graphene and graphite, which are the form of carbon.
Yeah.
Now, in carbon, that is in diamond and in silicon, there are 4 electrons in the outermost shell. We have studied this now. Remember this, there are 4 electrons in the outermost shell. And all the
Yeah.
electrons, these 1, 2 blue dots, if you see these blue dots, there are 4 dots in the outermost shell of this carbon. Fine. These blue dots are the outermost electrons. And these all are shared by the other carbons. Now it means this carbon is not having any free electron for the motion. If it is not having any free electron for motion, it means the electrical conductivity will be low or no conductivity. So it means they are going to behave as a non-conductor of electricity. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Got it? Okay, so
Yeah.
none of the available. So, okay, in carbon, all the four outer shell electrons are involved in the covalent bonding. So, none are available for conducting electricity. Clear? Second point,
Yeah.
carbon is a special in forming several structures in which one of the electron is available for conductivity. The structure of graphite and graphene, graphene and graphite are able to conduct electricity. In that structure, the structure is so you can say different from that of the diamond that in this we have a free electron. In case of graphite, one carbon is attached with three other carbons, not that the four. Now, when one carbon is attached with three other carbon, it means one electron is free to move here and there, which can conduct electricity. Clear?
Yeah.
Now see this. This is one carbon attached to this carbon. One, two, three. Now one is attached to three carbon. One electron is left and it can cause conductivity. Clear? Got it?
When
Your voice is not
next to
clear.
four,
Yes?
I thought I had four carbons.
Manya, your voice is not clear. Please repeat it again.
I thought I had four carbons.
This is not in your syllabus.
No, I'm saying that
You please type it. Your voice is not clear. I think there is some lag. My voice is clear. Am I audible clearly?
yeah.
Okay, please write it over chat.
Can
Na?
you hear me?
Yes. Now I can hear you.
Um,
Yes. What you are saying, Bacha?
I'm saying that I thought there were four carbon bonds.
There are four carbon bonds, but graphite is going to form only with other three carbons. One electron is free. One
So
electron is free. Okay,
yeah.
is that clear?
So yeah. So for graphene, there are bonds.
Yes. For graphene and graphite, the carbon, all four electrons are not attached. They have one electron free. Okay, we will study
So
there.
which one was the one which had four? All four.
Diamond. In case of diamond, all four are attached with carbon.
Oh,
See
okay.
this one, na? One carbon, all four carbon atoms are electrons are attached. See blue dots, all these four are attached. Fine.
Yeah.
But in case of graphite, you can clearly see 1, 2, and 3. The one electron is free, and this electron is responsible for the conduction of electricity. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, apart from diamond, carbon exists as a giant molecule structure based on the planar hexagonal layer. These are hexagonal layer because they are 6 sides. And this is the dot structure. Carbon 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you can see 1, 2, and 3. Carbon is going to form bond with the three other carbons.
Yeah.
Nothing more than that. This. Okay. Here. Okay. Now, in this case, what happens? Only three electrons of the four outer shell electrons are used in covalent bonding, and the remaining electron is released into the pool of delocalized electron shared by all the atoms in the structure. Now, one carbon is attached with three other. and one electron is now free to move here and there. When the one electron, yeah, my voice is clear?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when the one electron is free to move here and there, then what it will do? It will conduct electricity. It will behave as a delocalized. It is not a specific. It is not at a specific position. It will be released to a pool of delocalized electron, which is shared by all the atoms in structure. Now, structure of carbon containing planar hexagonal layer are therefore good electrical conductors, as they have one free electron which can be shared by each and every atom. So therefore, it behaves as a good electrical conductor. Okay, clear?
Yeah, yeah.
And because of this ability, also they can be used as a lubricant, because this one layer can rotate, or it can, you can say, slip over the other layer. So therefore, this graphite can be used as a lubricant. Okay. Now, graphene and
Okay.
graphite are both giant covalent structure of carbon based on planar hexagonal layer with bond angle 120 degree. This bond angle is 120 degree. Okay, by electron pair repulsion. This bond angle is around 120 degree. Got it? Okay. Now we will study about the graphene. This you can see there. This carbon is attached to 1, 2, and 3 here, and this is the first layer, and this one is the second layer. Here, the
Yeah.
two layers are formed, and each layer is of hexagonal shape. That is, 6 sides are there. Okay. Now, graphene is a single layer of graphite composed of hexagonally arranged carbon atoms linked by strong covalent bond. If there is a single layer of hexagonal structures, then this layer is known as a graphene. And graphene has a same electrical conductivity as copper, and it is the thinnest and the strongest material ever made. So graphene is a man-made material which has a conductivity similar to that of the copper, and it is the thinnest and the strongest material ever made. Remember that thing. Got it?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
this is important part. They can ask question over this one. Now, graphene was discovered in 2004 by Mr. Andre Guillaume and Constantine Novoselov, yes, from the University of Manchester. Okay, the Manchester is in UK, na? No, where? Manchester is UK. It's in UK only, no? It's Manchester. Yes, and they were awarded as a Nobel Prize in 2010. Now, Guillaume famously wait. Yeah. Guillaume famously made a graphene layer by using the sticky tape to pull single layer of carbon atom from the surface of a graphite. Now, how he made it? He took a sticky tape and pull a single layer of. Okay.
It's okay
Now,
now.
Jain famously made graphene. Now, how he made this graphene thing? He used sticky tape and pull a top layer of the graphite atom from the surface of graphite, and such a simple idea to start work that won a Nobel Prize. And on discovering this, or on making that particular layer, he got the Nobel Prize 2010 Nobel Prize. It seems to be easy, but it's a difficult thing. Got it? Clear? Okay, now we can see graphite is composed of a parallel layers of hexagonal arranged carbon atoms like a stack of graphene layers. So if this is one layer is there, we call it as a graphene one. And if we have a stack of these graphene layers over each other, then it will become a graphite. And one layer is attached with other. This, you can see this dotted lines are there. These lines are showing a weak London forces. So one and layer is attached to other layer, with weak London forces. And that's why these layers can slide over each other. Got it?
Okay. Yeah.
Because of the less forces of attraction and the delocalized electron, these delocalized electron gives it a rolling effect, and hence they can roll or they can slide over each other. Therefore, this graphite behave as a lubricant. Lubricant means which can reduce the friction. And most of the time, lubricant is supposed to be a liquid, but this is a solid lubricant which can cause that type of effect. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep. Now, the bonding in hexagonal layer uses these three carbon four outermost shell. Now, again, of the hexagonal layer uses three of the four outermost shell, and the spare electron is delocalized between the layers. It is delocalized between the layers, and so electricity can be conducted in this. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay, now what they are saying, carry out some research to find out these answers. Many materials are made up of carbon fiber. Now, carbon fiber, yes. How is carbon fiber linked to the structures of graphite and graphene? And how does the carbon fiber material is strengthened? Now, carbon fiber is one of the, again, very good, you can say plastic sort of thing, or not plastic, we'll say. It's a different sort of an substance, which is light in weight, but again, it is very, very strong, most like of that of the graphite. So you have to study this fiber and find out. Okay. Okay. Now we will study about periodic trend in melting point. Up to this point, any doubt?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Now periodic trend in melting point. The melting points of the element in period 2 and period 3 are shown in figure this one. Now, period 2, lithium, beryllium, boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and neon. These are the elements of period 2, and for period 3, we have sodium 2, argon, that is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. These elements are there. Now, if you see in across period 1 and period 2, the pattern is almost similar. Giant structure is covalent, and in this case, giant structure is silicon. Both are having a covalent giant structure, and covalent giant structure is having a high melting point and boiling point. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, as the atomic number increases up to a giant molecule, their melting point is increasing. So we can say that melting point increases from group 1 to group 14. From group 1 to group 14, it is increasing. The lithium, beryllium, boron, it's increasing. Melting point is increasing up to a giant molecule. Then there is a sharp decrease in the melting point between group 14 and group 15. Carbon is of group 14 and nitrogen is of group 15. There's a sharp decrement.
Yeah.
And in the same way, you can see it is increasing from sodium to silicon, and then again there's a sharp decrement in case of phosphorus, then sulfur, chlorine, and argon. The melting point are comparatively low from group 15 to group 18. Now, why this happens? The sharp decrease in melting point marks a change from a giant to a simple molecular structure. Now, this sharp decrement from carbon to nitrogen is giving you a sign that carbon is having a giant structure. That structure is having a high amount of covalent bonds, or you can say the force of attraction between the covalent bonds are typically very, very high in that structure. But in the case of nitrogen, the structure is not giant. It is a simple structure. Again, covalent bonding is there, but the structure is not giant. So the forces of attraction are very, very low, and hence this melting point and boiling point decreases. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you can also see a start of the diagonal divided between the metals and the non-metals. Okay. Now on melting, the giant structures have strong forces to overcome to have high melting points. On melting, giant structures have strong forces to overcome, so have high melting point. Simpler molecular structures have weak forces to overcome, so they have lower melting point. Is that clear? Giant structure has
Yeah.
strong force of attraction, so we need to overcome with the strong amount of heat. Now, strong amount of heat means high melting and boiling point. But for the molecular structure, the weak force of interaction is there. So therefore, we require only a small amount of heat. That's why their boiling and melting point are low. Okay. Now trend in the melting point across period 2 is repeated across period 3 and continuously across S and P blocks from period 4 onward. Now after period 4, this thing is common. Now you can see strong metallic bonds between cations and delocalized electrons. Giant metallic
Yeah.
structure. Now in case of giant metallic structure, what we have? Strong metallic bond between cations and delocalized electrons. In case of giant covalent structure, strong covalent bond between the atoms. In case of simple molecule structure, there are weak London forces between the molecules. So metallic one will be lithium, beryllium, sodium, magnesium, aluminium. Giant covalent molecule will be boron, carbon, silicon. And simple molecule structure are all N2O2, F2, neon, Cl2, acid, P4, argon, etc. Clear? Any doubt?
No.
Manya, is that clear, bache? Any doubt?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, ji. So again, you have to do these three questions. Do we need to discuss them, or you will first try it, then I will discuss?
Yeah.
Okay,
So
just I will discuss it. Explain what is meant by the metallic bond and why this type of bonding enables metals to conduct electricity. Metallic bond means, what do you mean by metallic bond?
bonding.
That is the positive charge
The
is
bond.
in delocalized pool of electron. And as we have delocalized
Yeah.
pool of electron, they are good conductor of electricity. Fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Next question is explain how the bonding in simple molecular lattice differs from that of the giant covalent lattice. In case of simple molecular lattice, there are weak London forces of attraction between the molecules. But in case of giant covalent structure, these are attached by the strong covalent bonds between the atoms. Fine.
Yeah.
Third question, across period 4, the trend in the properties is not exactly same as across period 2 and 3. Suggest explanation for the following. The first one is germanium is a good conductor of electricity. Why? Because germanium is going to form a giant covalent structure. That's why they have free electrons and therefore it has a good conductor of electricity. Fine. Arsenic has much higher melting point than nitrogen and phosphorus. Again, arsenic is going to show um arsenic is going to form a network structure or a giant covalent structure. Therefore, it has a high melting point than that of the nitrogen and phosphorus. Clear?
Mm.
Any doubt?
No.
Okay. So chapter is finished, bache. Yep, seventh chapter is finished. So we have questions. You want me to discuss questions or what?
Um.
Huh?
Uh. I'm just going to check textbook
Yeah,
and
please
see
check
if
it.
I
And
have anything.
these questions, your school teacher has covered all these questions or what?
If I see anything that I want to ask again, but
Okay, fine, dear. Please
um,
check this and then tell me. You're checking it now or what?
checking it now.
Yeah. Please do it. Okay.
Uh,
So that is all for today. We're done with all this chapter. and then try to do all these questions, and whatever doubts you have, you can ask in comment section. Okay, take care. Bye bye.